You never know what you might find out about somebody. Somebody who's making an impact in our community, helping others, who's got a great reputation and a great history, making a difference on this little planet. Stay tuned. We've got just that right here. Giddy up. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back talking techie nerd stuff. Our pastor here, our owner of Liberation Contracting and Roofing, he's also a pastor. He does some live streaming, and we're showing some of our technical devices here. We've got this is called a Stream Deck, and it will allow us to control all of the buttons and everything you see that goes on.
Oh yeah,
but it's kind of neat. You're spreading the good word, if you will. Through technology.
Through tech, I think everybody has to nowadays. If you want to reach people online, this is the space you have to go into. By the way, you've got a great studio here. This puts my little setup to shame.
Well, we decided to invest in this. We had some backing from some good sponsors and some people who really liked it. The judge still has his mallet up there in case he comes over to sit up on our shelf. He can grab his mallet and we can do some what's going on in the community stuff with the judge. That's Judge cool. Mike Carter Law, everybody here in St. Charles. With that, tell me a little bit about the biggest mistake that the average homeowner makes when they've got this kind of decision, because they've had some damage or a storm came through. What often do they make a mistake doing when they're making decisions along those lines?
I'll say that the biggest mistake is probably something we've already talked about, but that is going with an out-of-area company, going with a non-local, non-licensed, non-insured company, not doing their due diligence and looking into who it is that's going to be working on their home. I hear horror stories a lot. In fact, sometimes I'm the second or third call that a person has made, and they'll say, hey, I called this company, they came out, they met the adjuster, and they couldn't get this or that approved, or they took, unfortunately, you hear this horror story a lot, they took my first insurance check, and now I can't get a hold of them. Now they're nowhere to be found. That's a huge mistake. There are a few companies that have been in the news. It's kind of high profile lately that companies that are, owners are being sued for those kinds of things. So it's a big mistake not to know the company you're working with. It's a big mistake it's a costly mistake, especially in a situation like that. But maybe even 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road, when you've had a roof put on and then it starts leaking and you come to find out it was not installed properly. How do you hold a company accountable that's either out of business or out of the area?
Yeah, something you're not going to be able to do, and then you're on the hook. You're going to have to go down the route, and that's where you want to find somebody. But I like the fact that you do offer that warranty that goes along with the certainteed roof and the installation, because once you've got that whole system put together, and talked about venting and everything that's important for that, if those aren't installed correctly, you end up with problems. It doesn't last as long. What's the average roof last these days?
So when you a lot of homes still have the old school 3-tab style shingles on them. In this area with the weather swings we have, they used to be called a 25-year shingle. You're going to get 15, maybe 20 years out of them at max. Honestly, usually not even that long. Now there's better shingles coming out now. We use a Certainty Landmark Class 3 as our base shingle. That is a shingle that's got a limited lifetime warranty on it. That's going to last a really long time. As long as you're the original homeowner, that shingle carries up to like a 50-year warranty, and then it starts to step down after that. So a shingle like that's going to last a really long time. So we're putting on a better quality shingle now than what you used to get back in the day. But this is the Midwest. Chances are you're going to get a storm in a couple of years, and we're going to end up replacing that thing again at some point in time. It's just becoming more frequent in this area. Large hail, damaging winds. It's a reality of where we live.
Yeah, it's like almost gotten to where like it is down in Florida and Miami, where you've got hurricanes all the time. Well, in the Midwest, tornadoes and hail, and that does cause so much damage that it's inevitable. But make sure you get it properly installed and set up and configured and done right, that you're covered under warranty purposes. Because a lot of times the insurance company say, nope, that was already done, and the claim wasn't made, and what storm did that come from? So make sure. Residential and commercial, you do a little bit of both. Tell me what you like about each.
Yeah, residential and commercial. Obviously we like commercial jobs. They're bigger projects. We do a lot of commercial projects around here are TPO, flat roofing projects. Right. There's always challenges to solve on those as well. A lot of flat roofs, still have a pitch. And sometimes over the years things have shifted on some of these older buildings around here, so you have to figure out how to get everything to pitch properly so that it drains the right way, and you're not holding water up there for an extended period of time. I kind of like solving those problems, and it's nice to drive by and see a nice clean roof and say, hey, we did that. Yeah.
Yes, and residential, commercial, both offer a good opportunity to make a living and to help people.
Absolutely.
What do you like most about residential?
Residential, I like to know that we've helped the person who lives in that home just rest a little bit easier. Again, we want to set them free from the worry, and one of the biggest worries that people have is their roof leaking. Roof leaking causes tons of damage, and if you've got a good quality roof, I think you just rest that much easier at night.
Yeah, how often is the case? A little bit of water can cause a lot of damage, and if you get some water into your side, your walls, and cause mold and all kinds of other problems. These are things you don't want to deal with on your own. You got to make sure you got an expert helping you with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Most people don't understand that water is probably the most destructive force on Earth.
Yeah.
Everywhere you look, you can see evidence of how water has carved out bedrock and all kinds of other things. And water is your enemy in your home. You do not want water to get in. The problem is water wants to find a way into your home. And so, there are ways that water can get into your home you would not even think of. A good stiff wind can blow water up a wall, inches, and you just wouldn't even guess that. And so you need to know how, to properly flash things to avoid situations like that. You need to know how to seal things up. So another homeowner mistake is getting the local handyman to come out. Hey, look, if you're talking about putting knobs on drawers and fixing small things like that, great. I used to do handyman work a long time ago. But if you're talking about your roof, man, keep that handyman off your roof. Just call a roofer.
Yeah, they might be repairing it, but not necessarily with the right tools, because they've got their background with how they have done things. But unless you've got that experience, it's certified and trained, and that's what the certainty does with you and everything. Make sure it's done with the right components, because if you're using the wrong kind of nails or you're using the wrong kind of shingles, then it can cause a much bigger problem. Very well said. Tell me a time. I'm sorry. What do you like most about the St. Louis area?
Oh, man.
And the people you get to work with here in the St. Louis region, Midwest.
The Midwest is a great region. We have you just have a variety of different backgrounds here. There's a variety of different types of architecture here. In this area you have new housing developments, but then down in the city in some areas you have some of these amazing older buildings too that you just don't see really anywhere else. So I love working on the different types of properties, and the people here are great too. I think some of the greatest people live in the St. Louis metropolitan area. Generally friendly people, people who, just like anybody else, just need somebody to help them out, somebody that's trustworthy. Yeah.
Yes, because it is nice to know the people in your community and those who are doing good things to make a difference in our little corner of the world here. Because how often is it you have somebody you haven't worked with before? You don't know what their history is, and if you don't have that kind of a connection with somebody, then especially when you're talking about a $15,000 roof, then you've got other problems to consider and things that may be making life much more difficult. Cutting corners, everybody. Don't cut corners. We write that one down a lot of times too. Cutting corners can get very expensive. Doing things cheaply can get very expensive at times. Tell me though, a time that you had to go out of your way to help somebody. I can only imagine in your line of work, there's a lot of times somebody needs some help and you're like, well, you kind of got left out here, but we're going to help you.
Sure. So recently there was a lady who contacted me, and she had a roofer come in, and he had put a roof on for her, I want to say about 8 years ago. And she developed a leak last year. She tried to get a hold of this guy, couldn't get a hold of him, wouldn't show up. Really was a warranty situation, an improper installation done by this company. And I came out and took a look at it, and I said, well, you really should try to contact this guy. This is a warranty issue. She tried again, couldn't get in contact. So we said, okay, we'll help you out. We'll handle it. And she had multiple people there to look at this before, and they just could not figure out where the leak was coming from. So, we got a borescope, went up in the ceiling, looked around. There was no attic access, so we had to come up with a solution. We were able to find the leak. We were able to tear everything up, and we were able to replace it. And honestly, we don't do it often, but it was such a small repair, and the lady had gone through such anxiety and such hardship that we just said, you know what, this one's on us. Just tell your friends. Just tell your friends. We wanted to help you this time.
Well, that's cool to hear. That's a good story. And so often that ends up being the good word of mouth stuff that people hear and will help. It's a great form of advertising. It's done kind of inadvertently. You don't do it on purpose because you're hoping, but word will spread. And those who help others, when you help somebody, I think it comes back tenfold. Is there somewhere in the Bible that talks about that?
Well, I definitely, it says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And, I want people to deal with me in a trustworthy manner. I like it when people extend grace and mercy to me, so I want to do that to others when I can.
Well said, yes, because we are all humans who have our own flaws and our own issues and things to deal with, so we want to make sure and take care of those who take care of us.
Absolutely.
Tell me a time, though, when you had a difficult situation, either in your own business or previous work, where you really learned from something, and because it's a lot of times the biggest challenges we learn the most from.
Yeah, absolutely. The roofing industry, the construction industry is a challenging industry in and of itself, particularly when you're dealing with multiple variables, supplier issues, dealing with insurance companies, having to keep track of multiple details all at once. I would say that probably the biggest mistake that I made in this industry was not getting the help I needed sometimes, and trying to balance too many things from time to time, particularly when you have like right after COVID, we had some big storms, but we also had supplier issues where we couldn't get supply and things of that nature. Learning to ask for help, learning how to manage your schedule and keep track of details really makes a difference in this industry. It really, really does.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into the construction of a house, a home, a roof. In particular, a lot of people don't realize all of the elements that are necessary there. And during that time in our world, I don't like to say the word, but during that time of our little hiccup in our little planet, it was a global thing. But it damaged a lot to do with the supply chain, and so people had a lot of issues with getting the materials they needed to their location. And how much of a hamper did that put on getting work done that you had to do?
My goodness, we had wait times that were crazy. Sometimes 2 or 3 months for some products, and that's a hard sell sometimes to say, listen, we're going to get you taken care of, and I know you feel like you need to be taken care of right away, and we want to do everything we can right now, but we can't get these products for 2 months, 3 months, or we don't know exactly when it's going to come in. That's a hard thing to have to deal with. There's ways you can navigate around that. Sometimes you have to pick a different material, but when you're waiting on some specific replacement item that insurance says we have to use, then we just go out and service. We do what we can while the wait is happening. It was difficult. It was a hardship for a lot of people. Very
much lessons learned on our little planet for all of us in the business world. And boy, it was a trying time. But what they say doesn't kill you, makes you stronger.
That's
so
right.
We all had a lot to learn in that time on our little planet, and hopefully we won't have to go through that again. But those who stuck through it, it was a challenge for business just to stay afloat.
Yeah.
And, you obviously
Absolutely.
saw what went on with that, and here to talk about it.
I think a lot of people learned a lot from that little hiccup, that period of time that we went through. It definitely shook up a lot of industries, and I think that's good from time to time. It teaches us how to be more efficient, how to be more resilient. I think all the companies that came out the other side of that learned a lot of valuable lessons.
Well said, and we're all in this together, so we got to help each other. With that, share some more of our fun in the community. Got to hang out with my buddy Nino here down at Busch Stadium. A lot of fun. Cardinals are doing pretty well this year compared to what some people were thinking.
Yeah.
But we've got some excitement, and we're always down there. I haven't missed a game in 2 years, going to my third year. We have not missed a game at Busch Stadium for the St. Louis Cardinals. But here's our friend Nino. Check out what we were talking about here. Giddy up. Hey everybody, guess what? We get to have fun all the time at the Cardinal games. Before the game, we get to hang out with fun super fans. Say hello to my buddy Nino over here. Brett, Tanya, and Dixie, that's right. Everybody's in the video here. Family coming out to the game. Nino, what do you love about going to Cardinal games?
You love baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He loves baseball. Hey, all right, scoring points with the Cardinal Cowboy.
Yeah, he plays Miracle League baseball.
Do you really?
And he likes to be on the Cardinals team at home.
Yeah.
Wow. Nino, how many times have you been on that team? How many times have you done that?
A lot.
That's a good answer. All right. Dad, what's it like coming to the Cardinal games with your son and your wife and all the fun you get to have down here?
Oh, it's the most fun. I mean, we've been coming since Old Busch. Now we've got new Busch Stadium. It's the best baseball town and it's the most fun. You know, it's fun before the game. The games are always great, and we love it.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking time here. We're at Patios, everybody. This is where the most fun is. I get to wear the full outfit here. I got the pants, the socks, the arch, Nino, Brett, Tanya, and Dixie all here, and we're outside Patios having fun. Hey, say hi to Patios. Stop on by here before Cardinal game, and we'll see you guys soon. Nino, give me some knuckles. There we go. Go Cardinals. Giddy up.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. By now, we are on ABC 5 times a week. So many businesses are loving what we're doing to help them get their name out there. We'll sit right here in our guest chair, right here, sitting here talking to us. We're going to put on the wall your website and everything about you, and highlight you as a leader. Fill out the form you see here on our website. It's bigleagues.com, and if you go to bigleagues.com, fill out this form. It takes just a couple seconds, and you can even schedule yourself right here. Schedule yourself to be on the show, and there's no charge for us to record you. There's no charge to be in the studio. Check it out if you would like to be on. Fill out the form again, bigleagues.com. This is where we can turn any interview into a series of clips. Professional video on your website closes more sales by instantly building trust, clearly explaining complex products, and keeping visitors engaged longer. Reducing bounce rate by 34%. It'll help you to gain that credibility, increase engagement, simplify complex tasks, lower your sales friction, and boost your rankings on the search engine. So this is all kind of a no-brainer. See how we've now had over 500 interviews and now almost 250 different business owners. Go to bigleagues.com. That's bigleagues.com. Go to bigleagues.com and get signed up. You can schedule right from there. So there you have it, everybody. How has media changed the way we function on this little planet? But pick up our book here, Magnetize Media. Yours truly wrote the introduction here, the foreword. They said, Carter, essentially you wrote the first chapter, and they said, we knew you'd be able to help us to expound upon what we're trying to get the point across. Stephen Kidd, Jason Kidd played basketball. I was thinking, Stephen Kidd and Willie J wrote that book, and really does make an impact there. But with that, how has technology these days?
Oh, boy.
You got to do something, because
Yeah.
social media, you get to publish all about yourself and get the word out on your own. Websites, you got a great website, you've got that. How important has technology, how important it changed the way the world functions?
Technology is hugely important to this industry now. You wouldn't think so with something like, roofing or construction, but honestly, there's not a single part of the business that doesn't have some tech attached to it.
Right, okay.
Whether it be the website or Facebook or, shooting video ads or things of that nature, but also just in the process, keeping track of your customers. CRMs have changed over the years. Even the way that we take measurements now and interact with the
Right.
insurance companies, all of that has some tech aspect to it. So, our company, we pay a lot of money for particular software subscriptions that we need to have in order to interact with your insurance companies properly. There's Xactimate is pretty much the industry standard when it comes down to, preparing estimates to send off to insurance, and that's a costly program. Not only do you have to have it, but you have to know how to use it, because
Right.
there's a lot in there. There's roof measuring software. There's all kinds of things that we interact with now. And now AI is coming on to the scene.
Right.
And, there are some companies that are trying to use AI to diagnose damage, to roofs. And that's still in its infancy, I'll say. And, just make sure you're not relying on somebody using AI. I'll just say that. But tech is definitely important to what we do.
Well, yeah, and that's where we wanted to help smaller businesses keep up. When we figured out we could produce a show and systematize it.
Sure.
A lot of people do realize that. I mentioned it before, but my buddy Paul said, "Carter, you're doing the job of about 12 people." And then he said, "Who does your graphics?" I'm like, he goes, "That's 13." And so we can really streamline things. And if you're willing to put the time in anywhere, technology will help you get there, and a lot
Absolutely.
that can be done to streamline things with the way tech goes these days. But with that, tell me about some of the mistakes you've seen other contractors make. Not naming names, of course,
Sure.
but something you want to make sure that your customers don't run into that kind of problem.
Sure. A lot of mistakes I see being made are guys just not showing up. If somebody calls you and you tell them you're going to show up for them, at least show up. I see that a lot, and I hear that a lot. I hear not a lot of follow-up from competitors. Not a lot of expertise either when it comes down to dealing with the insurance process. I would say this: if you're a roofing contractor and you're watching this, you're hearing what I have to say, look, there's plenty of work out there for all of us to do. Let's just all do it in a reputable way. And if you're going to get into storm damage restoration, make sure that you understand how to navigate the insurance process properly. Get some training, pay for a class, they're available. Just do that. Go sit down and talk with an insurance adjuster. Tell them, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you educate me on how your company does this? The guys love to tell things. So just make sure that you are being educated. I would say that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see competitors make, is just not understanding how that process works properly and all the steps needed.
Right, and so it can be very costly if you don't get these things taken care of properly, because you end up with a product that's not finished or installed correctly or insured or covered.
Sure.
And so often those become very expensive.
Yeah, you're going to lose a lot of work. You're going to miss a lot of opportunities, and you're going to anger a lot of customers. Because if you go out and you get on a roof and you say, yeah, there's damage, and you don't know what actual damage looks like or what insurance companies are going to consider as coverable damage, then you're going to tell somebody to file a claim unnecessarily. Or you're not going to be able to successfully navigate that claim with a customer. And that's not a situation you want to be in either. So you've missed the opportunity to get the work, and you've aggravated and potentially harmed a customer.
Nobody wants to, you should not suffer harm from the guys doing work for you. So
Right.
make sure that they're following up and doing things correctly. With that, tell me the process for somebody that wants to hire you.
Absolutely.
Walk me through that a little bit.
I would say check us out. Go to our Facebook, go to our website. If you want to get in contact with us, you can give us a call. You can text that number. You can send us a message through our website as well. What will happen is we'll schedule a time to come out with you. I'll come out with you and meet with you in person. I will, hear your concerns. We'll take a look at your property. We'll document all things through photos. If there is, say it's a storm damage situation, if there's storm damage, we'll walk you through the next steps. If you're just looking to get an old roof replaced, we'll leave you with an estimate on the spot, and we'll talk with you about how to accept that bid and how to move forward.
Yeah, well, how often is it that people, they're in a very stressful situation here, and you're saying you can give them an on-the-spot estimate right there instead of having to go back to the office and recalculate everything. You've got the technology in place.
Yeah, so if we're going to replace a roof, it's just an old roof, and you know you just need a replacement, yeah, we can get you taken care of as far as everything goes right on the spot. Now, if it's storm damage and it's a large claim, that's going to take a little while. But we're going to, by the time we leave your home that day, you're going to be educated on what you need to do, and we're going to make sure that you're patched up too. So if you need a tarp or anything like that, we're going to make sure that you're covered.
There we go. Yes, getting covered is so important properly because you don't want continued damage because somebody didn't bother to just put a tarp on top of something over there. You will tarp the roof to make sure it's covered.
Absolutely.
Keep that rain from coming in.
Yeah, homeowners have a duty to mitigate damages to their property under their insurance claims.
Interesting. Okay. Well said, and something important to take note of. What is the biggest question people have before they get started with you?
Sure. They're always the same. What's it going to cost? How's this going to work? What's the timeline? And I can answer all those questions generally right there by saying, well, if it's a storm damage claim, it's going to cost you your deductible. You're going to have to pay your deductible. Otherwise, the insurance company should cover everything in the instance of storm damage. How long is it going to take? Usually a process with insurance companies takes a couple of weeks to get a claim approved because we have to have our initial meeting to see if you have damage, and then we're going to prepare documentation. The insurance company is going to send a representative out to look at things. They've got to take their findings back, and then we get a summary of loss from the insurance company. So that process usually takes about 2 weeks before anything really can move. Now, again, if it's just a replacement roof you need or replacement siding, we can meet you that day, leave you with an estimate. You say yes, we're moving. We're usually getting things installed within a week and a half to 2 weeks.
Well said. Tell me, what gives you the most satisfaction for what you do here ultimately?
Most satisfaction, as I've said multiple times, is just knowing that when we've done the job, it's done right. I get to walk away, and I know that customer is satisfied and is going to be protected.
Well said, yes, because those are the things that people want to make sure. This is a very difficult situation for anybody.
Sure. As
we finish up here, tell me what you enjoy most about how you contribute to the community as a pastor and what you do in the community.
Sure. Pastoral work, as I've said, I really consider that my real calling. I've been in ministry for about 15 to 16 years. I have to go back and look at the calendar now. Right. We do a lot of different community things. We've done, during COVID, we did Farmers to Families. We made sure that we had distributed food in the community. We also work overseas. We have an orphanage that we support in Africa that we help build, and we're building community structures there, permanent housing situations for orphans. We do a lot of different things in the community, and so I enjoy all that. It's in my heart to help people, and that's why we do what we do. That's why I do what I do. As far as pastoral work goes, I believe that there's a different way to help people by helping them to connect with faith, to connect with God through Christ, but also I believe that helping people in a practical way, as in doing the construction roofing work, that also helps people. And I just enjoy that. I like to walk away knowing people have been helped.
That's what we're looking for, and my mom has made that point to me. Do what it takes to help people, help the businesses, they help to employ people and help the world go around. Stay tuned, everybody. You're watching the Your Little Castle Show. Giddy up.